You see, I have some fresh art. So I'm digging into my backlog and playing some of Fresh Start. A very important choice. What animal represents our save file? That's gonna be the manatee. They're the most important animal. Oh boy, a tutorial. Wow, shooter controls. Okay. Yep. So the main reason that I ended up actually finding this game was because I was playing a different game that was basically centered around, you know, cleaning. And I was having a really great time with that game. But it also runs like absolute crap. And I can't stream it. So I dug deep into my bag of tricks. My bag of treats. My unlabeled Bitcoin accounts, my labeled Bitcoin accounts, and I closed all of my Bitcoin account, and once I had gotten all the money from doing that, I went to the bank and I took out a $10 loan, and I bought this game, which was a whopping $10. In the hopes that it would give me a cleaning experience, perhaps a little more tolerable than Power Washer Simulator. Because while I will say Power Washer Simulator at the beginning was an incredibly relaxing and enjoyable experience, by the end it sort of evolved into an avant-garde nightmare? Where I was pixel hunting for dirt that didn't exist. Wow. The grass grows. Oh, thank God, an RPG skill menu. I was worried I wouldn't have one of these. Yeah, trash around the player. Okay, I don't know what robots are, but, sure. Those are ultimates, I suppose. I guess I looked at them first because I'm used to the Borderlands style of tree, where this is your utility ability. Ah, yes, we're going to light up our interactables because I'm stupid. Alright. The G key is not, in fact, grenade in this game. There's a sad fucking weasel or something at this train station. We have to help. A cat? No, I don't think that's a cat. We're drowning in the big mud. I would hate to be drowning in the big mud. Or just like in mud in general. I would not want to drown in mud. Of all of the substances I could drown in, you know? I'm appreciating the individual particle physics on the individual bits of trash. That's very important to me in terms of game feel. Alright, so I don't have infinite range. I can't do 6 speed running strats by firing over hills and stuff. I guess that's fair enough. Need a delicious drink. Thank you. Gee, I hope that train's not trying to use the station I have not repaired even slightly. That would be catastrophic. wondering where all these plastic bottles came from? Are we just to presume that we are, far enough in the hellish future that this is just what the world has become? Like the ground itself, like underneath these stones, if we start digging, it's just gonna be more plastic bottles. Mud and gum. I'm going to hide that quest menu because I keep finding myself staring at it because it's the only thing on screen that's got, like, a lot of text. This train problem seems to actually be a little bit more severe than I first anticipated. What the ever-loving hell? Like, how much of a soda-based society do you have to produce this many empty, like, Powerade bottles? Because those aren't water bottles. That's a very, very, very specific, like, type of bottle that I typically only see Powerade in, you know? So to my understanding, that's a highly regional thing, you know? I've always found, just in general, like, it is a continental region thing. Generally, one continent has one variety of bottle and one variety of can for their drinks. And I was raised in a simulation of a continent where their Powerade bottles were that, right there. Not sure what it could mean. Maybe everything. Possibly nothing. Really, this game so far seems to be about the incredible virtues of owning a wet-dry shop vac, which I really can't complain about, because on the whole, I do think it's a good idea to own a wet-dry shop vac. Like, nobody thinks they need a wet vacuum cleaner, and for the most part, you don't need a wet vacuum cleaner. Right up until you spill a 2-liter of some sort of liquid inside of your car. I don't own a car, but... you know, we drink a lot of soda here in the dog commune, so the Void Sorrow's got a lot of soda around, you know? Anyway, sometimes there are catastrophic soda incidents. I'm gonna just hope that the train doesn't come at any point while I'm attempting to clean this area. Seems like it might be an unsafe hope to have, but... I'm gonna say this game probably doesn't have a, kill engine, if I had to guess. I see, that button quite literally just revealed the hitboxes of the surrounding environment to me. I'm glad that they give me this button and that it doesn't have a very short cooldown like, some other games that I'm not gonna name. I will say, the music loop could probably be a little longer. See if it changes in the next level, or if this game is just gonna be a continual nightmare of Kevin MacLeod tutorial style music. Which is not to malign the good Kevin MacLeod. He, you know, he scored a generation worth of YouTube videos. We'd truly be nowhere without him. It's strange, I was simulated in a place where I grew up next to train tracks, and I was very used to the sound of trains going by. And now every time they play the distant train whistle in-game, I keep worrying that I'm actually secretly back there, you know? And the scientist who posed as my mother is going to burst through the door and start hitting me with a stick. I think quite literally there is just a looping train sound playing from that tunnel. But I'm not 100% sure. Be careful, kids. Plants don't work like this in real life. You can't actually just force water into them to make them swell back up with a balloon noise. These, like, I'm just gonna assume that those are outside of my purview. Yeah. These trees have no life signs according to my radar. Okay. Don't know what this machine does, but I'm sure it's something. It turns trash into experience. I see. Well, I'm gonna assume that that machine doesn't have infinite uses based on the UI that it has. So I'm just going to see if I can't collect basically everything in the area before I use it again. We have a upgrade to perhaps get the suck faster. Auto sprinklers, I guess, but... Alright, yeah. Doesn't seem like we'll be getting it to suck much terribly faster. Which is a shame, you know? This new firmware I'm running, I require a pretty quick suck. I have to have the proper velocity and momentum. Okay, I need 3 gears for the clock. Remember, all clocks contain exactly 3 gears. No more, no less. That's clock science. Alright. 5 of those, huh? I assume they're just kind of sitting around the map. Generally, it's a safe assumption in games like this that you're not going to have to go digging for treasure. Unless, of course, you're playing, you know, I don't know, Magnet Treasure Hunter Simulator. Actually, that gives me a thought. Is there actually a good beachcombing simulator? Also, hi, Roomba Cat. But, like, I don't think I've ever actually played, like, a good metal detecting simulator where it focuses only on the metal detector stuff. Like, you have games where there will be metal detector mini-games. Like, Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People had a death metal, metal detector that was a running joke, and I think by the 5th game, Strong Bad just straight up hated the thing. and actively ask the developers to get a new mechanic. That was just because, like, it wasn't a very fun mechanic. Yeah, I really need to up the pressure on this hose. I need to go from reviving these trees to actually cutting them in half with the water pressure coming off this thing. I really hope the Ibis doesn't get a hold of this vacuum cleaner, actually. I'm pretty sure it could flood the ship if it wanted to. Like, I'm not 100% sure that the Ibis is actually able to, like, use things that require opposable thumbs, but it's apparently been using my gaming setup somehow, which is why I've had to switch to fingering the N64. I'm not being lewd. That's how I'm playing this game. It's how I will be playing all games until I figure out where the fuck the Ibis is. Because I'll be honest, I do not know. Holy shit, a Banui. That's a lot of garbage. Alright, give me the next level of hose, please. Thank you. Can't tell if I'm cleaning all that much faster, or if it's legitimately just, like, activating more things in an area. I think it's going faster. I'm gonna tentatively say the upgrade was worth it. Well, I can pet the Banui. I cannot put the Banui in my vacuum. Okay, it looks like I do, in fact, collect water faster now that I've upgraded the hose. Wow, the game's tolerable. I remember back in the early 2000s when, like, every game had to have an RPG-style upgrade system, so every single game had weapons that kind of felt bad until you put a point or two into them. That sucked. I will say, kind of a nice detail is the fact that the popping sound off of these flowers does appear to be echoing through the canyon. I didn't expect them to actually consider the echoing of the cartoon sound effects that come out of the magic backpack. So good on you, game devs. The sound this vacuum cleaner makes when I suck water out of the lake is kind of the sound that I make whenever I drink water, actually. I just kind of schlork it. Probably because I'm drinking most of my water out of a big bowl on the floor. Not because I have to, mind you. It's just fun to, you know, do things differently sometimes. Either you understand or you don't, you know? Either you've had your cereal by lowering your face into the bowl and lapping the pieces of cereal out with your tongue, or you haven't. Those are simply the two binary categories of person that exist. of wondering if the later levels are going to be bigger, because I've seen a couple of sprint speed upgrades in my upgrade tree, and I can't say that my sprint speed feels all that particularly low. Like, I'm not really sprinting around the map so far in this first level. You see, I think the problem with this train station is that they threw out all of their train station repair kits. You're gonna want to keep those if you want to repair your train station. It's a very common mistake to make. Throwing out the thing you actually want to keep and use. It happens all the time. It's why all of those hospitals have babies just sitting in the dumpster outside. Because they see a lovely, happy, healthy, bouncing baby child and they go, well, I don't want that. And they just throw it right out the window. And then sometimes that baby falls into a vat of chemically enhanced protein tapioca. And, well, that might be how I was made. You can't prove otherwise. See, the thing about being truly enigmatic, I've found, is that I'm not a truly enigmatic person, and I don't try to be, because a truly enigmatic person doesn't have to say things like you wouldn't get it after everything they say, you know? So do you think, when the Riddler's parents named him Edward Nygma, they knew that they were going to, like, create one of the worst supervillains of all times just through sheer force of getting their child bullied by other kids? Or do you think that, like, that's a proud last name in Gotham, you know? Like, it's an old-timey name like Cooper, where it means barrel maker, or Fletcher, where it's like arrow maker. Edward Nygma, heir of the illustrious, incredibly bad crime riddles family. Oh, no, you know what it is? I bet he's related to, whoever Uncle John is the uncle of. His bathroom readers? They've got a lot of overlap with, like, the trivia and the funny riddles. So I think first Batman needs to figure out who writes the Uncle John bathroom readers, other than, obviously, you know, Uncle John. The name's, the proof's in the name. But, you figure out who writes those, and you'll probably, you know, you'll get some answers about where the Riddler came from and why he's named that. Like, legitimately, why did his parents name him, like, Stephen Riddle? My son who loves riddles, Stephen Riddle. I know the ultimate answer is because Golden Age comics were silly, but I don't think you have to necessarily stick with all of the dumb decisions made by Golden Age comics, because a lot of Golden Age comics were quite homophobic and transphobic and generally kind of bad. There's plenty of good ones, but, like, I think we can all stop pretending that Alan Moore was, like, the last good person to write a good comic. There have been other comics since then. Some of them might even be good comics, you know? but you wouldn't if you only ever read The Killing Joke. Fucking Batman fan. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah, if you're a Batman fan and you're watching this video and you haven't engaged in the rich tapestry of funny Batman comics that there are, you should. Go find a funny Batman comic and read it on purpose. That's my challenge for you before you can continue watching the stream. If you're not a Batman fan, you don't have to read a Batman comic. Like, I'm not telling you you have to, like, become a Batman fan or anything. Just like, if you are a Batman fan, go read a funny Batman comic or you can't watch the stream anymore. I'll ground you if I have to. Alright, what quests do we have? Repair the cable, feed the cat, unblock the tunnels. Well, I have no idea where the cat is. That appears to be the, clock out button, as it were. I cannot get, like, deep into the station. They do not want me clipping into the prefab assets, it seems. Which is fair enough. I, too, would be opposed to that. Yeah, these plants are non-interactable. God, I have to just imagine how disgustingly slippery the ground has to be. Just blasting water everywhere like this constantly on like this sort of like gravelly, muddy ground. Like one of these rabbits is gonna slip while it's running away from an eagle or something. It's gonna go pinballing down the mountain at 80 miles an hour. And it's not gonna be my fault. Thanks for the achievement, Slow Beginnings. Really makes me feel like I haven't secretly made no progress in this game at all. How much content could there really be? I'm cleaning, he said before engaging in what was accidentally like a 30-part stream. Recreating the fucking Power Washer Simulator stream all over again. Okay, I have to rebuild your house before you'll stop hissing at me. Fine. I will bring you a delicious dinner meal once I fix your fucking house. Still can't upgrade. Yeah, can't get the second tier of water suck speed. So I guess I'll just get a larger water tank so I have to stand here sucking a little bit less. But also I think technically I'm going to take the same amount of time to fill up the water tank, so I hope they accounted for that in the game's math, because otherwise that's not really an upgrade. Because I spend the same net amount of time walking back and forth, I'm pretty sure. Ah, my inventory is full. I cannot pick up the cable. Repair this cat's house so that he stops hissing some of the most disgusting things I've ever heard at me. You may not be able to understand what he's saying, but I can, and it's dreadful. Just dreadful. He just shouldn't be saying it. I know he's upset that his house has fallen into disrepair, but it's really uncalled for. Oh, he was missing his funny little hat, of course. That's completely understandable anger then. He was missing his funny little hat, and yeah, okay, good kid. You can pet the cat. Contrary to the fact that I am, in fact, a dog, I am a cat person. I think they're sweet. I am a fan of cats. I am a very good fan of dogs. Because I am one. My self-esteem is so high, you couldn't even begin to imagine. Like, gravitationally, I'm actually a very shy and nervous person. It's just like, I'm in a spaceship. We're in low atmosphere. You know? Har har. Please don't bully me just because I said I was confident. I will cry. My self-confidence cannot take very much tweaking. Grass over here. I did not realize these grasses were interactable. I'm glad they gave me a scanner radar and basically forced me to take it in the very early levels. Because if I had taken that noob trap of the inventory slot, I would definitely be doomed because I wouldn't have noticed that some of these grasses are interactable grasses. Or like I wouldn't have noticed that that bush there, for instance, was not fully grown. I think maybe they should have forced me to take the radar, but, you know. You can preserve some challenge, I guess, by just letting the players screw themselves for fun if you want. I'm not gonna knock that from a game that has otherwise been pretty easy so far. Alright, fix these signals before a train blows through and rolls over my sweet conductor kitty. I wish flowers grew this fast in real life. Like, you could just stand there blasting them with water, and as long as they had enough nutrients, they would just sprout up with a funny cartoon, like, boop, boop, boop. I think that would make gardening a much more interactive activity, because you could stand out there with a hose, and you could, like, blast the flowers in your backyard with a hose, and every time they sprouted fruit, you could get some fruit. You could speedrun having an orchard, basically. Well, I'm glad there's a help menu, even though I can't say this game's controls are forgettable. Now see, this I would say is a tolerable amount of pixel hunting. Like, this is the amount of pixel hunting that doesn't make me go, wow, the devs of this game hate me, don't they? Power Washer Simulator sometimes it felt a little bit like the developers of the game hated me. Like, just a little. Ooh, maybe I'm not supposed to. Oh, invisible wall. All right, we love to see it. Always put invisible walls if you're not entirely sure where the player can and cannot get, because chances are the player can probably get places that you didn't expect. All right. We have duck. Duck confirm. Now, is that last 1% just the last level of nature? No. There's actually just a thing somewhere. Some gunk unaccounted for, perhaps. A duck I have not yet pat? Surely not. All of the quests are done. Ah, I've left some dirt and gunk lying around over here. Yep. Come on. Oh boy, this last 1% is gonna be like very minor bottles that I have missed around, isn't it? Because the bottles aren't gonna show up on my cleaner sense. Oof. You know what? I'll buy me an auto sprinkler. Okay, so I can just plop that down wherever, presumably. Okay. Yeah, good. It doesn't take water or anything, so I can probably just kind of like throw that down and then run off somewhere else and forget about it. As I am definitely going to do. Hello, birds. Ah. There's some slop over in this bush. Anywhere else? Any more crust? Gunk? Sponge? Lime? Cat. Pet the cat. Yeah, other than me just like missing a bottle somewhere, or maybe that last % being the garbage in my inventory, I think we've done all we can. So I guess let's go put all this trash in the wood chipper. Yeah, sure. Eat. Not entirely sure what the number readout on that's for. Do I literally need... Like, do I have a limited number of plays on that? I'm not sure where else I would turn in my trash. Hit me, do it, hit me. Yeah, that's a well-coded game, baby. No death engine, just like I said. You don't need to have a death engine in the game, so why have one? Just don't have one. We're now going to take the train across the Atlantic Ocean, jumping it over this whale. Now that's fucking sick. That's cool as hell. A landslide. Well, time to test how well this cleaner robot actually does. Okay. Wow, it's loud. I can hear that bad boy from a ways away. Oh, and it runs out of water very quickly, it seems. So I guess I kind of have to use it more like a League of Legends style ability. My E ability, Whoosh bot. Yeah, the whole plant, dude. Yeah, I think he's just... It's fine. You know, not every AI is a strong AI. Some AI is a weak AI, and that's okay. You don't have to be able to adaptively problem solve every single problem in existence in order to be a good AI. Sometimes it's good enough to just, like, tell someone when they have a dentist appointment that they're supposed to be at or something. Siri, I bet, is very helpful to the weirdos who use Siri. I'm not one of them because I think, like, it's a little weird to talk to your cyber secretary in public. I think we should all kind of collectively stare a little bit more at the very weird people who talk to their cyber secretary extremely loudly in public. You know? River's looking a little slimy. A little, nasty, perhaps? Like there might be some malfeasance inside of it. Some, aggregate. Silt and slime of the variety enjoyed by catfish. Looks fucking nasty in there is what I'm saying. So is that train noise just kind of an ambient train noise that I'm going to be able to hear everywhere I go? So what happens if I just fill this bad boy with trash? Okay, so just... I guess it requires a minimum of 2 trash to use, maybe? Not entirely sure I understand the readout on the, Crash Experience slot machine, but that's okay. Well, thank goodness that the achievements in this game aren't particularly onerous as far as they go, you know? Hitbox on the bluebell flowers they have here appear to be a little strange. It's kind of like below where the flowers actually are and not where the stem is visually. Very strange. I wonder how many of these assets are handmade versus, you know, Unity store-bought. I don't bring that up to be negative about Unity store-bought assets, because those are a perfectly valid tool to use, especially for a game designer on a budget. There have been entire game jams specifically about making the best game possible with, you know, prefab assets. Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy was a game that was quite a lot to do with prefab assets and how you can make a game good or bad out of them, you know? But I'm just wondering, like, some of this stuff looks a little bit incongruent. with some of the other stuff, and not in like a major way, but just in a way where I wonder if they were having to make their asset art style match some pre-rendered assets that maybe they didn't have control over. Just something about this train tunnel in specific, I think, makes me feel like it was a prefab train tunnel. There's just something about it whenever I see one of those train tunnels. Alright, robot, while you do that, I'm gonna look at my skill menu. A pocket recycler? Wow. No? I think I'm just gonna wait so I can make my hose faster. That seems to be the only legitimately helpful upgrade there is. The rest of them all seem like upgrades of convenience, because I don't have terribly much trouble vacuuming up the loose scunge that I create. Alright, retrieve some nectar for the honeybees. Not sure why we are retrieving the nectar for the bees. I do not appreciate their laziness. Place the water robot there while I once again refill my water. Man, water robot, you are not the fastest tool there is. I gotta say. Alright. The bridge is no longer out. Dare say the bridge might even be in. In what? Good question. Good working order. Alright. Upgrade me, my vacuum hose. I must slurp faster than ever before. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Intense cleaning action. I wonder if this game has a new game plus, because I bet you could probably get some very funny speedrun times for this game if you, have a new game plus where you can go through it with all of the abilities. I'm kind of thinking about like the tech that our good friend Water Robot might have, you know? Water Robot, you can go over here, and I will go over here, and we'll see who finishes first, you know? Oh, it's the darndest thing. I seem to be going way faster than you, Water Robot. What's going on, buddy? Probably nothing. It's almost as if he's not actually that helpful of an upgrade. Oh, you completed like half of a garbage pile. Interesting, Water Robot. I take back what I said about weak AI earlier. You're allowed to make fun of water robots that are very bad at their job. That's okay. If it's a mono-purpose robot, they should probably be good at the mono-purpose. Like, I'm a multi-purpose robot, and I'm kind of equally bad at all things, you know? But like, if you're gonna be an adaptive AI, you should get used to being like that. Alright, we appear to have repaired the bees. Or most of the bees. There may be bees elsewhere in the level, but I don't have any more jugs of Skyrim wine for them. Because dang, did that look like fucking Skyrim wine. I know that that's a very standard form of like artisanal bottle, but like, I can never associate it with anything but Skyrim from now on for just how long I've been playing remakes of Skyrim and how deeply it's sort of infiltrated my mind. I always grab a lot of those bottles when I see them in Skyrim because I tend to use them as healing items, funnily enough. I don't play on hardcore or with any like item weight tweaks, so I'll just make a very strong Dragonborn who carries around a lot of wine and cheese wheels. And it's not like to hoard them because like I use all of my food for healing. It's just that wine specifically I think is a good healing and stamina item for what it gives you. I can't remember off the top of my head what it gives you, but I just like having lots of bottles of wine on my Skyrim character so they can just drink. They called them the Dragonborn, but you could also perhaps aptly call them a Jägermeister. Even though they are not in fact German in any way. Alright, robot, you did your best. Now, go do your best again while I go refill my vacuum and pretend not to notice how bad you are at your job. Like, why does he rotate? He appears to have freely aimable water spouts on both of his hands. So why does he just spin around, not spraying water? If you're gonna spin around like a sprinkler, surely you should continually spray water to water the area around you, and not waste the processing power and time on being an H2O sniper, yes? Gotta say, the water particle effect is reminding me a little bit of Juice WRLD. Not Juice WRLD, because that is technically just the rapper's name. They changed the name of the game. Juice Galaxy is the game to which I refer. They changed their name in order to avoid conflicts with rapper Juice WRLD. But just the slurping noise? I know that the slurping noises in Juice Galaxy were all made by the developer of Juice Galaxy. But the dot particle effect, just kind of combined with the weird slurping noise that it makes, really reminds me of Juice Galaxy. We washed the train yet again. So there is in fact a train on this map, it's just not moving, while also blowing its whistle somehow, because trains can't blow their whistle if they're not at steam, I don't think. Like, a stationary train can blow their whistle, but I believe the engine has to be working, and I don't think the engine was working underneath all of that fucking Powerade. Because, again, these piles are 100% just Powerade bottles. There is nothing else in these piles, as far as I can tell. Probably like hack the game, check the name of the files or something like that, but it's Powerade. If I checked the game's files, I would find that they're called Powerade. And you can't prove otherwise. You know, now that I'm thinking on the subject of cleaning, and we did in fact have our dear friend Roomba Cat stop in offering hugs, it makes me think about how Roombas actually aren't very good at their jobs, but everyone kind of, like, keeps them around anyway because we like them. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a study released of, like, how well Roombas clean their assigned areas. And when they did the study, it was revealed they don't really clean their assigned areas all that well. And in fact, like, I think Roomba, like, the company that makes Roombas got in trouble because people were complaining about, like, oh, it creates a map of the inside of my house, that's so creepy. And so what they did in order to sort of assuage people's fears about that was they released some of the example maps of people's houses. And as it turns out, the map of your house that the Roomba creates in order to clean it is quite bad. So, like, if you have a lot of furniture with, like, legs that it can run into, or just, like, a weird floor plan that it wasn't explicitly expecting when it was built or tested, like, your Roomba just doesn't really get under stuff or on stuff. Well, we all tolerate the Roomba, and we have, like, we have our little place where it goes. You know, we have its little pet bed where it returns to sleep. And because it's so expensive, you know, we get upset when it breaks, you know, the robot equivalent of getting sick. Or when it needs maintenance, again, the robot equivalent of getting sick. So, like, I really have to think, as I learn more and more about Roombas and how well they do the job they say they do versus what people seem to like them for, I think you could probably sell them better as an AI pet, you know? Like, they have that one little electronic toy for kids that's the Cosmo robot. It's a little cube that, like, titters at your kids and tells them to kill their parents if you, I don't know, remove its ethical limitators or whatever. And that strikes me as basically just a Roomba for children. And I say a Roomba for children because the Roomba came first before we made all of these AI toys. But I think there's a genuine argument to be made that at the end of the day, when you buy a Roomba, you're not actually, like, buying a Roomba to have a Roomba and, like, to have something that cleans your house efficiently. You're buying the Roomba because you want a pet vacuum cleaner that you can feed dust bunnies. And that's okay. Like, if I had a Roomba, I would probably want to feed it popcorn so that it didn't get hungry. Like, if it came by my dinner table while I was eating, and I was eating, like, a dried pasta that it could crunch on with me, I would pour a little bit of diddleini on the floor so it could crunch on it. Because when you're a junk reactor, you don't actually need to cook a lot of the pasta you eat. You can just, you know, I just put the pasta in my mouth and the pasta goes. Alright, we've restored sheep to the area. Shout out to sheep furries. I know a couple of them who are very cool, and I used to be one. Granted, it was because I had fallen into the lint trap of the Void Sorrows dryer. But for a solid 2 or 3 weeks until I got all of that fuzz scraped off, I was in fact a sheep girl. Alright. I think we have in fact cleaned up all of nature. Wow, birds. They don't have those in outer space. Don't think. But really, who knows? Have you checked personally? Alright, one final blurp around the map for trash, I suppose. And then I will do the next level, and then, actually, I'll see how many levels this game has left, because I don't expect that it's going to surprise me with any surprise boss fights or anything like that. And then we will, see what we're doing once we see how many levels this game actually has left. I will pet the sheep. Yeah, I did that. Ah, there was a third level of Mother Nature restoration that I hadn't gotten to, of course. Reminding me that bees exist. Bees exist. You can see them. If you went outside right now, you could see a bumblebee if you saw a bumblebee. If you didn't see a bumblebee, you wouldn't see a bumblebee, but that's not my problem. Yeah, so it looks like this game has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 levels? So, if we get to 5 or 4 levels, 4 or 5 levels, we'll stop. Or if, you know, we get to 2 hours. The two states of which I can be. Oh god, they've trapped the whales. This is horrifying. Alright, now we're actually growing plants real quick. This is tolerable gameplay. This is speed-runnable gameplay. That's what I mean when I say, like, you could probably, find some tech in this game if you looked for it. Actually, this level looks like it might be kind of big, so we might not have enough time to do multiple. We'll see. Because there's kind of an illusion that this level might be larger than it actually is. Alright, pick up a valve. I'm not gonna make any cheap jokes about how I'm playing this game on Steam. I could, but I'm not a hack. Like any game where they pull the Duke Nukem Forever joke of I hate Valve puzzles, in order to slam on Valve, like, you can't do that anymore, I feel like, at the end of the day, because, like it or not, you're on Valve's platform, you know? If you're selling your game through Steam, because there are alternatives to Steam. There's Origin, if you want to take the dollar of evil EA, and there's the Epic Games Store if you want to take the dollar of the incredibly evil Epic Games, who hate Linux users. Like, you have alternatives, but if you're gonna sell your game on Steam for money, I don't think you can really have, like, super rude digs against Steam. Because then it's not an issue of, like, you know, you're criticizing capitalism from an iPhone. You know, like, I'm not being a smart aleck about that. It's just like, you probably shouldn't insult Valve while selling on their storefront. Because I would say they're probably one of the very few, like, game storefronts where it has been proven they will eventually take those insults personally if they get too, rowdy. Because if you recall, the Paranautical Activity devs had a real bad time when they, I think, threatened to murder Gabe Newell or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they definitely made some comments that Gay Ben did not like. I believe that's actually why the Game of the Year edition is now called the Ultimate Penance version, because the developers who published it currently had to apologize in order to get back on Steam, and they readily did so because I believe the people who actually are in control of the game now didn't want to randomly threaten Gabe Newell anyway. Which I'll believe. I'll believe there was just some weirdo on their team threatening the dev. Quite sure what these net walls are for, if not to explicitly trap these whales here when there isn't garbage around, but whatever. Oh, okay, so those are actually obstacles. Those aren't supposed to be here. Good to know. Here I was wondering, like, are those supposed to be here? Because their wood was definitely looking pretty similar to everything else around here. Not sure what this roll pump is doing, but strikes me as vaguely sinister, I must say. I can assume probably the lighthouse cables, as mentioned in the quest log, maybe? Yeah, possibly. Oh, they're the geyser controls. Sorry, why do we have geyser controls? Are these artificial geysers, or did we install a bunch of tubes so that we can better harness nature's wonders? Because I hate to break this to the devs of this game, there is not, in fact, a switch at Yellowstone Park that they can switch in order to turn on Old Faithful. Your parents were doing a bit. That was a joke they were doing at your expense. Or maybe your parents were legitimately that dumb. I'm not able to speculate about the intelligence of your parents, but they were probably just messing with the poor service workers, and they shouldn't have done that. I'm giving that water bot over there every benefit of the doubt. Can he do a good job before I get back over there? Or will he be surrounded by mess that I know for a fact he could have cleaned up? More people would probably be into recycling if it gave them experience points and augmented their abilities. Like, if we could really impress upon people that saving the environment would make us all live longer because the planet is dying, I think we'd probably make some good progress, you know? More sucking power. I guess we can upgrade. We can wait and upgrade Waterbot. I'll wait and upgrade Waterbot. See if an upgraded Waterbot gives us the profound efficiency boost that I feel Waterbot needs to be good. Alright, don't growl at me. I know you're getting impatient, whales. Jeez, it's like they need to eat in order to live or something. Come on. It's not my fault. Alright. Alright, good job, little fella. Little water bot that could. Cleaned up this whole little area all by yourself. We're all quite proud. Alright, now aid me, Waterbot, in my time of need. Excellent. I'm wondering if I can actually trust him to water trees properly, or if he's just going to take too long no matter what I do. Because I did watch him stand next to one of the more easily watered plants for a little bit, blasting it and just achieving nothing. Maybe we should fill him with electrolytes and, you know, Gatorade? I hear it's what plants crave or something like that. I wouldn't know. I'm 100% electrolyte. I don't ever crave. Except for, kisses. I like kisses. I like being kissed by pretty girls. Oh, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch, because it's the taste you can see. That one, too. Waterbot's having some trouble, alright. Let's just pretend we didn't see this one. We'll pretend he did a good job on that one. Also, wow, there's quite a lot of fart on that mountain over there. I know it's been there for a while, but I'm wondering how all these Powerade bottles managed to make a bunch of fart appear in the air over there. Blurp. Alright, next stage of nature. Hey, the puffin! I love puffins. I think they're a delightful bird, even if they're apparently quite, stupid. Well, not stupid, but, over-friendly, to the point where apparently they will, become friends with, like, scientists, stand-ins of them? And they'll end up, like, becoming so friendly with them that the scientists have to pose the ethical question of, like, hey, is it gonna be a problem when these puffins lose their good friend? We don't want to give these puffins depression, right? Which I think is a very funny consideration. It is true, you don't want to make the birds sad by taking away, like, a life partner that they've accidentally formed a bond with, but most animals don't actually, get that friendly with scientific stand-in models, you know? I think most penguins probably know that the robot penguin isn't one of them, because they sort of look at it and then they move away from it as if it's, uncanny or unsettling. Alright, cleaning bot, you, did your best, buddy. Your best is kind of disappointing me, but I guess I've gotten all of the relevant gameplay upgrades when it comes to, watering things faster, so... Dude. I'm glad at least that the different areas, now that I'm here, I can definitely tell that they do have different music, at least a little bit. I wasn't sure in the previous level if it had different music or not, and I'm still not sure because I can't remember because that loop was kind of something I was actively filtering out. But, I appreciate the difference in music in this area that is much more obvious. I don't know why all of these piles of Powerade bottles and nothing but Powerade bottles are making all of these weird, like, brick and rock noises. Maybe it's that new brick-flavored Powerade. I hear brick-flavored Powerade is good for people who play devil's advocate a little bit too much in conversations. Thanks, brick-flavored Powerade. Alright, what's with this one? Why is this one here? I don't think the water line even comes up this far. There's no reason to have a removable fishing net this far from where the whales are. Come on, folks. We're gonna literally poach whales. Can we at least be creative about it or something? Alright, time for another big slurp. Sorry, whales, I'll help you when it's convenient for me and not before. Waiting any second for Mario to go rolling by in the background in his parka from the Snow World Odyssey. Or like having captured one of the local puffins or something. Just goes bouncing on by. I think most games would probably be made better if there was just a function where you could see Mario like hanging out in the background doing Mario stuff. Like, it's unrelated to whatever you're doing. Mario doesn't help you or anything. He doesn't, like, you know, give you a benefit or, like, tell you a secret. He's just in the background having the events of a Mario game happen while, like, you're running away from the monster and the evil within or whatever. And, like, if you die in front of Mario on some off chance, because he's usually in the far background in my head, in my mind, you know, he doesn't really do anything to lift a finger to help you. He just kind of watches, and then he goes like, oh, mamma mia. Because that's how he reconciles with death. Like, even if you are playing, say, the evil within, Mario isn't really gonna recognize, like, the gravity of the situation. Even if, maybe you do. Mario will likely not feel very much when you pass, is what I'm saying. Anyway, stay here, Waterbot. Gotta go get the suck. Probably get rid of this fishing net too. Keep forgetting that those aren't part of the environment, and that I should probably just grab those and move them when I see them. I know my water bot's back there, but now that he's out of earshot, I'm gonna be honest, even fully upgraded, I don't think he's gonna be terribly useful. He's just, I don't think he's not cut out for this job, you know? he's made a good effort. He's got good spirit, but I just don't think that Waterbot is actually, like, good at watering plants, which is what I actually need him for. It's easy for me to clean trash, you know? I got a vacuum cleaner. I got a powerful vacuum cleaner that eats cans. Like, there is no Dyson vacuum that could eat a can in the way that this device can. Like, you get mad if you put plaster dust into them because their filters aren't entirely removable. So, like, you're gonna sit here and tell me they could suck up a brick? Or they could take, like, 40 chicken nuggets, like those industrial toilets they have on Amazon, where for some reason they demo how powerful they are by flushing 40 chicken nuggets directly down a toilet? No, sir, I simply do not believe that this is that powerful. Or rather, that Dyson could produce a vacuum that powerful. So I guess what I don't believe is that this device in my hand could be produced by a Dyson. Not a Diafather either. Anyway, I got the pocket recycler upgrade because I figure it'll just give me a steady drip feed of experience points and maybe save me a little walking back to the scrap recycler. Possibly not a huge amount, but we'll see. You have to wonder what kind of happened in all of these environmental disasters to make all of the plants die. Like they said, the last one at the train station was a landslide. Landslides don't generally also kill all the trees in this way. Like, it'll knock them over, but I don't think it, makes the trees become grandiosely malnourished and underwatered. I don't know. And, yeah, this level's actually kind of a bit bigger than I expected. This level, I think, once it wraps up, may in fact be the last level of this game we knock out today. Ah, right, that low rumbling in the distance. There's still whales waiting for me to liberate them. Very easy to forget when you're just kind of fucking around, not helping the whales. Time flies when you're not helping the whales, as they say. I think that was a glacier repair item. Don't have the box that opens that particular whale containment field yet. Well, I guess it's not a field, it is a gate. A field would require it to be translucent, like me, or like some sort of force shield, like the hard light bridges from Portal. Please do not bite me, Mr. Arctic Fox. Here, a pet for you. Pet. I bet there's probably an achievement related to petting every animal in the game that's possible to pet. But, I do appreciate that, barring the existence of an achievement like that, which I'm not 100% sure if there is or isn't one, like, you can literally just pet the animals for the sake of it. Like, I think it's kind of silly when reviewers give games, like, a point off of 10, because it's like, oh, you can't pet the dog in this game, that means it's bad. But also, I do think it's very funny that, for the most part, like, games that have no reason to let you pet a dog consider petting a dog like a feature they need to have in order to be feature complete, you know? Like, it's silly that devs have been pressured in that way, because I think it's silly to try and, like, tanker games reviews because you can't pet the dog, even jokingly. But I do think it's very funny that now we've gotten to the point where, like, fishing minigames and dog pettings have become mandatory for a lot of people to say a game is, like, a fully featured sandbox experience, for instance. Because, like, your average person, I would say, doesn't fish. Like, if you live in a coastal area, they might fish for fun, or they might fish for their career, or there might be a fishing industry. But, like, your average person probably doesn't fish terribly often, to the point where, like, it's not like with Stardew Valley NPCs, where, like, you walk down to the river every single day to fish. Gub and I went magnet fishing in a scrap field recently, and that was a whole day that we had to take aside to go do it, you know? But, like, Stardew Valley seems to imply that, like, in your day-to-day, you might just have a fishing rod sitting in the back of your truck, you know? Or you might just have a fishing rod on you because you have your fishing rod as, like, an everyday carry device. And you just do some fishing. And, like, they kind of assert that not only is that the farmer experience, but, like, that's the normal experience for every human being. Because I'm pretty sure, like, most people in Stardew Valley can, begin spontaneously fishing, you know? It's been a while since I've played it, but I believe most people's AI will spontaneously fish if they're in an area that will support it. Maybe I just don't know what country life is like. Maybe people do, in fact, like, there's a large percentage of people who carry around their, fishing rods looking to fish. But, typically, you know, I don't carry around my fishing rod looking for opportunities to fish in the same way that I carry around, like, lockpicks looking for an opportunity to help someone by popping a lock for them, you know? Or, like, I keep the lockpicks on me in the hopes that they'll come in handy, but I don't think that's necessarily a thing most people do with the fishing rod. Like, hey, Bill, why do you have a fishing rod in the back of your Ford F-150? Well, I have it in the back of there, so if I see a fish in a river as I drive by, I can just get it. Like, no. I guess it just seems like kind of an oxymoron to me in some ways to be in a rush to go fishing, you know? Like, I keep my fishing rod in my truck because I have such a hectic lifestyle. Whenever the opportunity to go down to the river for like 20 minutes and attempt to fish presents itself, I have to fish. Because those incredibly crappy conditions are the only conditions under which I could possibly see myself fishing. You know? If you truly care about fishing, find the time. What kind of message does it send to the fish that you can't even find and set aside a block of time on purpose for them, you know? If your true love is the sea, you should find time for your true love. Set aside specific date nights where you can catch fish. And, I don't know, plunder the ocean. I kind of got piratical there with it a little bit. I'm not sure why. It's not necessarily a piratical point I was making, but... Alright, can't fit a puffin in the vacuum cleaner, sadly. Which may be for the best, because I can't imagine the sound of a puffin getting sucked into a vacuum cleaner would be satisfying in the same way, like, vacuuming up this junk is. Probably just make a noise like you're feeding like a bone-in chicken into one of those industrial grinding machines that they use to destroy furniture. The dogs were already there. Are you just emphasizing that the dogs are now in proximity to some grass? Good for them. Has to be a pretty dirty hill if 13% of the pollution in the area is up on this hill. Come with me, Waterbot. Oh, a veteran cleaner. Well, alright. Well, I guess that answers where the hell these cables are. All the way over here. You know, I'm having to question if the echo effects that's happening on these objects as they pop up from nothing are actually varied. Because I think there's a slight variation to how that sound effect is actually sounding now that we're on an even opener map as compared to when we were only on a semi-open map. And that's really funny to me. Yeah, the 3D audio definitely changes. So if you listen really, really closely, like the pops of the plants growing are more hollow when we're closer to the water. That's really interesting. I will say, this game has been very enjoyable so far. Like, it definitely strikes me as a game that is exactly what it is for the price it is. You know, it's a game about cleaning up junk and trash. It's a $10 game about cleaning up junk and trash, and it runs well, there's no major glitches, and the jank that I can see is jank that, like, you know, feels appropriate. Am I going to helicopter out of here? Is that the plan? Let's find out. Up my sprint speed, I guess. And cleaner sense too while we're at it. Why not? I don't know what that little mashed up texture on the bottom left in that rock is. I'm just gonna assume that that's meant to be like a seashell or like part of a starfish or something. Oh, repair the paraglider. That's actually... maybe that's not the level exit. Or maybe it is and you have to actually repair the level exit before they let you leave. You're trapped in the whale preserve, Mr. Cleaner. Ah, that's what the fishing nets are for. Repairing the paraglider. I see. The paraglider is, yeah, how you exit the level. Alright. Repair that all the way. Come on. Or grow it, I suppose. You don't repair a plant with water. You grow the plant. Alright, the lighthouse cables are fixed. Will turning on this lighthouse somehow make the fog over there go away? Doesn't look like it. So it looks like this is just a very, 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 very foggy island. Probably for the best they have a lighthouse and they have it on. And it is with a heavy heart that I free these whales, because whales are an agent of human extinction. I hate to be the one to have to break this to humanity in this context, because, you know, I'm not a particularly big Twitch streamer. You're probably not going to get this news until it's too late. But, yeah, whales actually mean you guys quite a lot of harm. The noise they make and the song they do, you're being threatened, guys. That's the honest truth of it. And you've been being threatened for a real long time, and I think the whales think you're not taking it seriously, which is why they keep threatening you. Why they keep doing what they're doing. So, you know, I hope when push comes to shove, you know, bad things don't happen because I released those whales. They don't have normal fat, you know. It's a real worry. They've got blubber. It's got keratinous fibers. Who knows what they could do with those? Maybe the next area we clean up will actually, in fact, be that volcano. That would be nice. I really don't like the, you know, feces cloud that's just kind of taking over a chunk of the sky. That's kind of gross. I wonder who knitted the flag for these puffins. Maybe it was the landslide. I hadn't considered that. Because that flag was probably made by, like, human hands, or a very intelligent puffin, if not human hands. Well, I suppose from up on this lighthouse, step is as good a place as any to press the button that turns nature back on. Ah, clipping error. My favorite part of nature. We've restored it, so even the puffins can enjoy the clipping error. Alright, and we got a little hot cocoa, so we could be comfy up here. And, we have a paraglider that we somehow repaired using a bunch of holy fishing nets. Am I not done with all my quests? Okay, there we go. The game was just confused. Alright. Well, that's gonna bring us to the next area. I suppose we can see what the next area is before we end the stream. It's the forest. What disaster has befallen a forest? A major catastrophe. Well, judging by all of this damage, you've been playing with fire bombs. That's some damage that we're probably going to have to deal with next time. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And good night.